In this video, I'm about to answer the question, how much budget do you actually need to get started with paid advertising in social media in particular, and also Google I'm going to cover. So my name is Max Sinclair. I'm the founder of Snowball Creations. We are a marketing agency that specializes in paid ads in particular. There's a few different channels that we focus on, as well as LinkedIn lead generation, competitions, and various other things. So we have a countless number of clients right now who are doing different types of paid advertising campaigns. And so we've known and understood that there is bottom ends really in terms of where you can arrive to actually be able to have successful campaigns and start delivering a return on investment for yourself. That's ultimately the goal with all paid ads, is make positive returns. Otherwise, there's no point to it. And how you get to them is the challenge. Paid advertising is 100% the biggest kind of area of opportunity nowadays if you have the funds to do it. And as long as you actually have a service or a product which is actually appealing to people, like it has product market fit. So I'm going to cover our three favorite channels, which are three of the biggest of today, which is the Facebook, Instagram combo. So I'm just going to say Facebook whenever I refer to that because it's the Facebook manager for Facebook and Insta. Then there's Google Ads, which is the entire world of Google, which is as big as Facebook. And then LinkedIn Ads I want to cover as well, because LinkedIn Ads we've found some really great success with. And in my eyes, it's the third big one, for our personal preference, at least for our clients. So firstly, Facebook. So what is the kind of bottom? How much do you really need to start? So a quick answer for you, £450 is a benchmark that we like to kind of go off, because the way that we figure this out is really thinking about how many tests you can run. This really is the game across all of this. So the more money we have, the more traffic that we can get through any of these different portals, because we can afford more clicks to go through them. And if we have more data, we can find out whether things are better or worse than each other. We can do more A/B testing and ultimately arrive at better and better results for ourselves. So that's the entire game of paid advertising. And so the more money that you have, the more data that you can run or build and bring through the system. So £450 in Facebook. The reason why we say this, so each audience test or each test in general that we run within a particular ad set, so a kind of minimum budget that we would look for within any ad set, within a campaign, within the business manager of Facebook, is generally £5. You can go slightly under that. Obviously, all of these things are always slightly grey area, but really £5 is a good approximate minimum per test. So that could be testing. Very often what we might be doing is testing different audiences. So you might have 3 different ad sets, which would have £5 on each of them per day. That is, sorry if I didn't say per day already. And that would then equate to £15 per day. And so if it's £15 per day for each of those, if you multiply it by say 30 as a kind of rough average number of days in a month, that would be 150 for each of those different audiences, so 450 in total. So that's how we come to the 450 mark. Essentially what that means is we can test 3 different things at the same time. So we can have 3 different ad sets running and be able to test them against each other. So for example, if I was going to be promoting an e-commerce store that was selling eco-friendly products, like something that we do for other people right now, you might be testing, you might be selling, say for example, I don't know, bamboo toothbrushes. And so you might be testing people who have interests in eco products, people who have interests in like sustainable products, and people who are vegan plus interested in sustainable products. Say that was 3 different types of audiences, or you might have a lookalike audience somewhere in there maybe. So you have those 3 different audiences, and with that much budget, we can test all 3, run them, and find the winner out of those 3, drop one of the losers, and then we've got 2 left. I'll stop trying to swear at you in a moment. And ultimately, it's this process starts with A/B testing. So you can get 3 tests. If you only have 2, you've really got literally an A/B test, which is a very limited amount of data to be able to find a positive success for yourself. Obviously, if you could do, say, £600 worth of budget, then that means you could do 4 tests. And so you can much more quickly have a likelihood of finding a winner out of 4 different audiences compared to 3. You can also do that could be also content. So you could try a different video of each of those, or copy, or all sorts of things. So that's Facebook. LinkedIn is a funny one because it's essentially, I always say, think of LinkedIn as similar to Facebook. They're both display networks, really, like ads that pop up, ads in different places, although there's like a few variations. I talk about it in another video of mine actually, which I can probably link in this one, about the differences between Facebook and LinkedIn ads. But essentially with LinkedIn, other than there's a few differences like InMails, for example, it's a similar model of you have a campaign group and then you have campaigns, which are kind of like the ad set equivalent within Facebook. But with LinkedIn, they actually have a slightly harsher limit. So this varies in where you're from, which country, but roughly in the UK, for example, I believe it's around £8 is a minimum daily ad spend for your campaigns. And so, and in other places like in America, for example, some of our clients are in America, it seems like it's nearer £10. So it varies quite a lot. So what we generally say, it's kind of roughly between £7 to £10 per day. So in that scenario, if you wanted to be testing 3 audiences, say at £10 per day for each of those, that would turn out to 900. So a short answer, minimum spend for LinkedIn ads, I would suggest is around 700 to 750, and this is somewhat depending on where you are in the world, because basically this minimum that they set in place. But again, this allows you to test 3 different things, which in my eyes is like the bare minimum that's going to get you by, really. And lastly, with Google Ads, so Google, we generally, again, so 400 plus is a minimum. This is much more variable though, based on your industry. But the thinking that you need to work out is the number of clicks that you're going to get through to your website, how many conversions is that going to create for you, and so how much revenue you're going to create. And so if, for example, you're generally a high ticket item, you're selling, for example, some of our clients are selling contracts that might be worth millions of pounds. And so for them to get a lead, if they convert 1 in 10 leads, each lead is, you know, a tenth of whatever, £1 million potentially. And so each lead could be like hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of value technically. So they only need a very small number. And so very often in these particular kinds of industries or environments, the cost per click is a lot higher. So it can be up to even like £100, I think is like the ridiculous absolutes. But generally it's like £20 even, £10 per click can happen. Maybe like £5 to £10 is a more common area for a high ticket item. And so if you've got a budget of say £100 and your cost per click is £10, you're only going to get 10 clicks to your website for that much budget. If you had 500, obviously it'd be like 50 clicks. But 50 clicks, you have to say an average conversion rate might be 10% from website traffic to lead. So you might get 50 clicks, but only 10 of them are going to be then leads. And of those 10, do you convert, say, at 30% of the time? So then you've only got 3 conversions out of that much budget. Is 3 conversions good enough to cover that 500? And so that's what you really want to be thinking about more with Google. And it's playing that game of working through your conversion metrics through your funnel from traffic, the cost per click, and then the conversion from website traffic into lead, and then from lead into sale, or obviously if you're in e-commerce, it would be different slightly to that, but it'd be purchase or add to basket, initiate checkout, and then purchase. So think through that thing, but bare minimum really is again 400. But the main thing I'll finish with saying is across all 3 of these, the answer is more is better. So if you could give me, for example, my agency, Facebook and LinkedIn, if you give us £1,000 instead of £500, we're going to get there twice as quickly. Like the game is, let's try 4 or 5 different audiences, or let's try 10 different audiences. Where are we going to find better results? We're going to find the best answer much more quickly. Or what you could be doing is testing just 3 or 4 audiences, but not go with the minimum of £5 per audience and put £10 per audience. And then that means that you're going to get twice as much traffic going through each of those 4 audiences. And so we'll find out which is the best audience much quicker. Like, you know, we suggest at least 2,000 impressions for each of these before we decide which is the best audience. So actually that's the real game to be playing. So more money always better is the harsh reality of it, but roughly 400 to 500 is a common minimum really across Facebook, LinkedIn and Google. I hope this has helped. Please do get in touch if you do need help with your paid ads more. This is an agency specialism of ours, and I wish you luck.